Well, hello, and we are solving some communication issues today, and one of them is going to be an Optimus because I'm taking Optimus to Easter Jeep Safari, and Easter Jeep Safari requires that you have a CB radio. So we're going to put a CB radio in Optimus, and then we're going to put a GMRS radio in the Gladiator. So let's take a look at what I've done. I'm not going to go through the install. Installing a radio is so easy. It's just connect to power, run an antenna, but I'm going to show you what I did, what equipment that I'm using, and why I chose that equipment. So let's take a look at what we did. So for the CB radio, we're using the brand new Retevis MB3A CB. This is a great kind of a micro size CB radio versus my old 29 LT, which was just huge. This thing, nice and easy to install. I've got it up here on the Way of Life CB bar, and honestly, I'll probably only use this for EJS and then probably never use it again until next year when I go back to EJS. So that's what it's in here for. This thing is pretty cool. You got your station up and down keys on here. You have AM, FM. So that is something that is really cool. I had no idea that there was FM available on CB radios. That came about from a 2021 change to the CB radio specification. But AM, let's see, AM right there, AM is standard. That's what all CB radios used to run. Now, since 21, you can have FM. Now, FM was available in other countries, but it allows for clearer sounding communications. You don't get quite the range that you did with AM, but it sounds better, which is kind of cool. In a small group, FM is probably going to be a better choice. For long range communications, longer range stuff, you'll want to use AM. The cool thing is they're compatible because they use the same frequencies. They just modulate different. So should be pretty cool to try out the differences. I've noticed a difference in the sound quality on AM versus FM, and so kind of cool. So just easy toggle there. You can scan through all the channels and let it go. Now it keeps finding stuff and it's going to stop because around here there is just a ton of CB activity, and I'm not going to bother to let you listen to all the noise. And then NB, which I believe is narrow band, could be useful for some things. I'm trying to get a clarification on what NB actually does. And then you have a toggle here, takes you right to channel 9, hit it again, and you're on 19. So 9 is the emergency channel, 19 is more of the information channel. You're going to hear more stuff on the road on that. ACQ is automatic squelch, so you can turn that on, or you can adjust that to basically hear anything you want. So you're going to hear a lot of static on it right now. I'm just going to turn that off for now. So very cool little radio. I think it's going to come in handy on the microphone itself. Pretty handy little unit, and it's got the channel up and down right on it, making it very easy to use. And supposedly it has a voice operated switch mode, a Vox mode. Haven't tried that out. Not sure when I would use that, if at all, but it's worth checking out. So this is going to solve the problem for needing a CB for EJS. Now let's go look at the antenna. Now, when I first got Optimus, I put a CB in it because I thought that's what you did. And very quickly I learned here in Colorado, nobody uses CB. And after having it in the Jeep for 3 years and only finding one person on a trail that had CB, I finally took it out and now I'm putting it back in. So I had a good Fire Stick antenna. Big old beauty here. Mounted it onto the Moto-Built tire carrier here, little spring mount. So it's got some good flex to it if it hits a tree or anything, and it puts out some good power. I did a radio check earlier, got someone, 5-6 miles away. Not bad, especially around here and having it sit right next to the house. It's working pretty good. So that's the CB radio hookup, the Retevis MB3A. Great little unit. I think if you need a CB or you want a CB, good choice. Links in the description below. Retevis is a sponsor of the channel. They did send it to me. But if I was going to buy one, it's probably the one I'd buy because it's nice and small and it's inexpensive. So I like it, which is why it's on here. Otherwise, I would have just put in my old Cobra 29, which, like I said, it's just big. It's big and bulky. It's got a lot of cool features, but it's just overkill for anything that I need. I need something small that's going to fit where I put it. This one does the trick. So next, we're going to install a GMRS radio in the Gladiator. Now on to the Gladiator, and we have the Retevis RA87 GMRS radio installed up here using the American Adventure Labs Molly panel kit. So very, very secure. I'm going to show you how I wired this in just a minute, but I just think this is kind of a cool setup. I've got the microphone hanging up over here. It comes with the clip, so I just have that all wired in really nicely and nice and clean here. The nice thing about this radio is a 40-watt GMRS radio, fully programmable. I've got all my local repeaters on it. I have a trail channel, which is just a regular GMRS channel with some privacy codes when we're out together with all of our friends. Lots of functionality on here, dual channel monitoring, so I could do two different things at the same time and switch between them pretty easily. So very cool radio. I've been using this as a base station at home for quite a while, and now it's mounted in the Gladiator. So now let me show you the antenna and the wiring setup. Now, this may be a bit on the overkill side. This big honking antenna up here. Yeah, she's a beast, and at freeway speeds, it'll bend back quite a bit, but if we hit a tree or something on a trail, it's going to deflect it. Now, this is a 6.5 dB gain antenna. Should really put out some power. Just sitting here in my driveway, I just reached someone on our local repeater. Well, not the local repeater is close. I managed to hit somebody on the Denver repeater, which is 36 miles away. So very impressive range. It was excellent audio quality. So I'm very impressed with the setup. Do you need a 6.5 dB antenna? Some people say just go with the biggest, the most powerful one you can get. But there's downsides to it. And when you're in the thick of the woods up in the mountains, a high gain antenna may not be the right choice because it may cause a bunch of reflections off the trees, and you might want to go with something smaller. On Optimus, we have a 3.5 dB antenna, and it's always worked perfectly. So we're going to see how this thing does out on the trails, but it is awfully tall, and I may have issues with going through some drive-throughs. Now, let me show you how I did the electrical on it. The Gladiator has the tow package, which means it comes with the aux switches. And the aux switches are kind of tucked back, well, they're way back in here, tucked up underneath the passenger footwell. But the problem that you run into is every time you go to change one, you're probably cutting the wire shorter and shorter, making it more difficult to work with. So what I'm doing is I got this block here. See if I can get to it here. So I bought this block on Amazon, a terminal block, and I'm putting spade connectors on all of the built-in wires. And then anything I want to connect to it, I put a spade connector on and go from the other side, making for a very clean connection. And I never have to cut the wires that came with the Jeep. Now for the radio, I'm going with the, there's a 12 volt power wire included under here. If you're under the hood, you just go to the battery. There's no extra wire. But under here with the auxiliary switches, you have 4 auxiliary switches. You have one wire that is only on when the engine's running, and you have another that is full-time 12 volt. That's the red one with the white stripe. That's the one I used to wire the radio. So I can use the radio whether the engine is running or not. So that's all of our new comm setup on the JL and the JT. Again, on the JL, we had to add a CB radio because if you go to EJS and you run the trails, you need to have a CB radio. I have no other use for a CB radio, but we're putting one in just for EJS, just in case. And then for us, our primary trail communications is GMRS. Optimus has a GMRS radio. We have a bunch of handhelds, but I wanted a more powerful mobile setup for the JT, which we did with the RA87. So any questions on these, feel free and hit me up in the comments below. Happy to help you out. Retevis is a channel sponsor. There is a link in the description below. I use their products and I have them as a channel sponsor because I actually love their products. Not because they're a sponsor, but because they make some of the best products out there. And I really believe in the products that they make. So if you're looking for radios, check out the link below. If that looks like something that you want, then I'd appreciate it if you buy it from Retevis. If not, you want a Midland or you want something else, go for it. They're all great radios out there. I just happen to use Retevis because I love the products. So thanks for watching, everybody. Be safe out there and stay in communications. We'll see you on the trails.